Alright, so suppose you want to write yourself a text editor, like what we've got over here. Alright, well this is an IDE, but we'll use it as an example. Now one of the useful features and now as you're writing this and writing it for coding, one of the useful features you realize that you would really like your text editor to have is the ability to do brace matching and parentheses matching to know if these are mismatched or what goes to what, right? So I can highlight this brace and it says, oh, it goes to this brace. And this brace goes to this brace. And this is a very useful feature. It is so helpful, right? It is amazing, and it also helps you in other pieces of code, like when you want to indent your blocks of code properly, right? This is a very useful feature to have in text editors because a lot of programming languages use this. So you need to be able to tell, okay, are the braces matched for these things, right? Do these braces match? Right? For every single opening curly brace, like this one, like this, or every single open parentheses, like this one, do we have a closing one? Right? And so you think, aha, well, Professor Rosen's been talking about regex all the time, and they seem pretty fantastic, so we're going to build a regex to solve this. And you try. And then you hit a wall. Because you're trying your best, and you're figuring it out, and you write this small regex and you realize it's just not working. There's cases that it just doesn't catch. And so you go, like anybody else does, and go to Stack Overflow, and you eventually hit something like this. Count parentheses with regular expressions. And then you get over here. Contrary to popular belief, don't believe everything people say, matching nested brackets is possible with regex. The downside is that you can only do it up to a fixed level of nesting, which simply says that basically regex can only match basically like a certain amount deep, a specific whatever you set your regex for, right? You could only say match maybe this if you write something simple. Maybe you can write something that supports expressions that like this, a plus b divided by c plus d over 2, right? And maybe if I did another level of regex, I could, add that. So you could use a regular expression to do that, but only up to a certain level, because a regular expression, they only work on regular languages, and these languages are Turing complete, which is a whole kind of statement for itself. But the problem for matching matching braces, that's something that's just outside the capability of basically regular languages, and you'll need something that's more. You need something else. You need memory. You need to be able to count and remember, because you eventually find that the issue with this is that you cannot remember how kind of deep you are into the stack using a regular expression, how deep you are into an expression of parentheses using regular expressions. So here we can actually use the stack to solve this problem of curly brace matching. A very important problem, because we want to be able to nest these as deep as we want. So another example more explicitly, as you might guess, is whether or not we're matching our parentheses, right? Is this about, are these parentheses balanced? And I would like to kind of know that automatically. And this gets worse, and of course we make computer scientists, we make this worse by not just having parentheses, but by having curly braces and by having brackets with arrays. So we can use stacks for these. And it's a fairly straightforward algorithm, which I'll go through the slides for. And if you want to watch the slides on palindromes, they have slides for palindromes, which are pretty nice. But over here, right, what we can do, it's fairly straightforward. What we are going to do is that we are going to push basically every opening brace, bracket, or parentheses onto the stack if it's an opening. Parentheses or bracket. So we push every opening parentheses or every opening bracket onto the stack. And every time we hit a closing parentheses, bracket, or curly brace, we're going to pop from the stack and check to see if they match. And if they don't match, then they're mismatched. Then we've got a mismatched expression. Right? Because an example of that not working is something like this, right? That will match, but you're never going to get a situation that looks like this and it be like kind of legal, right? So you are going to push in, so we're going to push, so we'll see with this example. Push in that parentheses, then we're going to push in the bracket. We got the closing bracket, so we pop off, they match, so we continue on. And we pop off the parentheses and we match, and they still match, and that works. And if we can also guard against having too many brackets by making sure that we check to see if the stack is empty, and if the stack is empty at the end, then we return true. So here's kind of the idea. We have a stack, we keep another stack of characters. We get each character from the string. If it's an opening parentheses or bracket or curly brace, we put it onto the stack. Otherwise, if it's a closing bracket or curly brace or parentheses, we pop and we check to see if they match. So I'm going to write this a bit more efficiently than they have it, so we're going to go ahead and write our algorithm for it. Public static Boolean is balanced. And this will just tell us if it's balanced, which is a good start here for that hypothetical problem we have. String expression. Okay. Return false. So we're just going to assume, or actually we're going to assume it's fine. We're going to return true. And in fact, we're going to change that even more when we get to the end of in just a second. Stack is equal to, oh, can't put an E there, completely forgot. We need a stack of characters, right? Because we're going to be holding single characters. Equal to a new stack, right? So now, again, what we're going to do is, actually, if you understand this, continue on to the next video, but I'm going to go and run through one more example, and then the next video I'll finish coding this up. Yay, planning. Okay, so here is an example. Again, line 5 will be the top of the stack. So let's go ahead and say public static void main string, right? Something we've seen a lot. String args. We're going to check to make sure that that everything is matched in here. Args dot length x is equal to args dot length int x is equal and string y is equal to args args dot length divide by 2 plus 1. Alright, so we've got an expression that we can see to make sure if everything's balanced. So the way this is going to work is that we just scan through it. Oh, these aren't, and we're looking for only one of 6 type of characters. Either it's opening, parentheses, brackets, or braces, or closing, brackets, curly braces, or parentheses. So we go through there, and we're scanning, boom, we hit one. We push that onto the stack. Then we go on to this, to the bracket, push that onto the stack. Okay, then we hit the closing bracket. We pop, check to make sure that what we just popped off just matched. They do, so it's still balanced. So we're going to continue going on. We hit this brace. Sorry, this parentheses. We pop. We just popped off an open one. And that was a closed parentheses, so they match. So now we push on, so we can push on still. Push that on, keep going on. Push the opening parentheses on. there's a closing parenthesis, so we pop off the stack and make sure that opening parentheses matches. Then we've got a opening bracket followed by a opening parentheses followed by a closing parentheses. So we pop off those match. A closing bracket, so that matches that, and a closing curly brace. So that runs a lot quicker than I did it, but that's kind of the idea of this.